Hesperorniths is an extinct and highly specialized group of aquatic avialans closely related to the ancestors of modern birds. They inhabited both marine and freshwater habitats in the Northern Hemisphere, and include genera such as Hesperornis, Parahesperornis, Baptornis, Enaliornis, and Potamornis, all strong-swimming, predatory divers. Many of the species most specialized for swimming were completely flightless. The largest known Hesperornithean, Canadaga arctica, may have reached a maximum adult length of over 1.5 meters. Hesperornithean were the only Mesozoic avialans to colonize the oceans. They were wiped out in the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event, along with Enantiornithians and all other non-avian dinosaurs, as well as many other diverse plant and animal groups. Anatomy and ecology. Most of what is known about this group rests on analyses of single species, as few provide sufficiently complete fossils for analysis, although some of the smaller and more primitive species, like those belonging to the subgroups Enaliornis and birds.They, might have been able to fly. The larger Hesperornithes like Hesperornis and Baptornis had only vestigial wings. As in the case of modern foot-propelled diving birds, the femur and metatarsus of these animals were short, whereas the tibia was long. The legs were also set far back on the body, as in loons, grebes or penguins. Hesperornithes must have been powerful swimmers and divers, but extremely ungainly on the land, and probably spent little time ashore except to nest. They were rather long-bodied, and measured about 6 feet long. Some researchers think that on land they had to slide on the bellies and push with the legs. The hip and knee joints were shaped such that these species could not move them dorso-ventrally, and in a resting position the feet projected sideways from the body, which would have prevented them from walking upright. The anatomy of the toes suggests that Hesperornithians had lobes of skin for propulsion underwater similar to grebes, rather than being webbed. The dense bones of these animals decreased their buoyancy, making diving easier. The snout was long, and tipped with a slightly hooked beak. Behind the beak, the jaws were filled with a series of simple, sharp teeth which were set into a longitudinal groove. These probably helped to seize fish, like the serrated beak of mergansers, unlike the reptilian teeth of more primitive avialans. Those of the Hesperornithids were unique. They also retained a dinosaur-like joint between the lower jawbones. It is believed that this allowed them to rotate the back portion of the mandible independently of the front, thus allowing the lower teeth to disengage. Evolution. Currently, the Hesperornithians are recognized as a very specialized lineage that is not ancestral or otherwise closely related to birds. Still, the relationship is close enough that they probably diverged from the ancestors of modern birds as late as the earliest Cretaceous. The earliest known Hesperornithina is the early Cretaceous Enaliornis. The majority of Hesperornithian species are known from the late Cretaceous of North America. Small Hesperornithian bones are known from the freshwater deposits of the late Cretaceous of the Judith River group, as well as the Hell Creek and Lance formations, and in several Eurasian sites. These species were about the size of a cormorant or a loon. Classification. The clade Hesperorniths was originally named as a subclass of Aves by Furbringer in 1888. However, it was generally ignored in the scientific literature in favor of the order-level name Hesperornithiformes, coined 1 year later. In 2004, Clark became the first to define the Hesperornithian group in terms of phylogenetics. Clark defined Hesperorniths as all species closer to Hesperornis regalis than to modern birds, and regarded Hesperornithiformes as a junior synonym. though she did not define the latter name. Clark also defined the more inclusive group Hesperornithidae as all Hesperornithians closer to Hesperornis than to Baptornis. Hesperornithians were originally combined with Ichthyornis in the paraphyletic group Odontornithes by Othniel Charles Marsh in 1873. In 1875, they were separated as Odontalci. The group was often considered to be related to loons and grebes, or to the Paleognathai. These similarities, however, as the more recently determined fact that the osteons of the bones, at least in Hesperornis, were arranged in a pattern similar to that in Neognathai, are today considered to be due to convergent evolution. Relationships. In 2015, a species-level phylogenetic analysis found the following relationships among Hesperornithiforms. Species: Hesperornithiformes Furbringer 1888, Odontohalci Stejnager 1885, Hesperorniths Furbringer 1888, Fumicollis Hoffmanni Belenamp Chiapi 2015, Potamornis Skuchiel Zanofsky, Paul and Amp, Stidham 2000. Paskia Ornisto Carrick, Cambar and Amp, Stora 1997 p. Tanki Ito Carrick, Cambar and Amp, Stora 1997. Baptornithidae AOU 1910 Baptornis Marsh 1877 b. Advenis Marsh 1877 b. Stenchoi Recent Amp Lindgren 2005. Brodava Di Martin, Urokanen Amp, Tokarik 2012 Brodivus Martin, Urokanen Amp, Tokarik 2012 b. Varneri Martin, Urokanen Amp, Tokarik 2012. Enaliornithidae Furbringer 1888 Enaliornis Seeley 1876 c. E. Arati Seeley 1876. E. Sedgwick Seeley 1876. Judanornithidae Nesov 1983 Judanornis Nogansavensis Nesov and Amp Borken 1983 Hesperornithidae Marsh 1888 Ziav Hesperornis Spazanovia Nesov and Amp Prismlan 1991 Parahesperornis Alexi Martin 1980 Canadaga Arctica Who 1999 Hesperornis Marsh 1872 H. Altus, H. Crassipes Broadcorp 1963, H. Gracilis Marsh 1876, H. Rossicus Nesov and Amp Yarkow 1993.